Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Big Finish Fans. Today, Big Finish Fans, we are covering Out of Time, the trilogy of the Out of Time stories. Once again, I'm joined with Luke.
Yes, hello everyone. It's finally complete after nearly 2 years, isn't it?
A long time coming, yeah.
Yeah.
We
I mean, when
finally
did we
got it.
first get the announcement?
Was it August 20? No, it wouldn't have been August, would it? It would have been sort of like June, wouldn't it? June, July, I would say.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it was quite that soon. Maybe May?
Yeah, that would ring a bell, yeah. Could be
Yeah,
then.
because I feel like with Shadow of the Sun, we got that like very quickly before, but with Out of Time, I think we had to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, because I think Shadow of the Sun was sort of that sort of test to go, look, we're still making audio. This is the quality it's going to be under, like, in lockdown, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking up the recording dates for Out of Time 1. So that was done 26th of March and 4th of May. So I could see us getting that news in May, just after they recorded it.
Yeah, because they normally wait for everything to be sort of in the can, don't they, normally?
Yeah. Especially when it's something like this with Tennant, I imagine they don't want to go pushing their luck with it.
Yeah, because they had like 20 days for Tenet all in all. So 9 of those days would have been Dalek Universe, 3 Out of Time.
26th of May 2020 was when we got the announcement.
Okay.
Out of Time. And it was funny at first, wasn't it? Because we didn't know it was going to be Tennant and all three of them. We were sort of theorizing all these different Doctor combinations. And then they came along and sort of said, oh no, it's just the 10th Doctor with 4, 5, and 6.
Which I don't want to sound like ungrateful, but it was a little bit gutting going, oh, that's a bit of a shame.
I think it's a shame they didn't just announce it as it was at the time. I think that would have been much less disappointing to know that it was just the trilogy of 10th Doctor meeting classic Doctors. Because we were seeing it as, oh, it's just a bit of fun with loads of different Doctors meeting each other.
Yeah. And I think as well, you sort of have that thing where multi-Doctor stories become sort of taken for granted. They sort of become like an oversaturation with them, where they sort of lose that shine, I guess, because Ten's very much a new boy in terms of Big Finish content. It made sense for him to be taken advantage of in the Big Finish world, really.
Yeah, that is very true. And I think, yeah, with Tennant, they're sort of getting the big check marks, aren't they? Like with Dalek Universe, it's was it a big Dalek epic with 10th Doctor Classic Companions, it's him meeting the old companions. So it does feel like they're going for the more heavy hitter stuff, like the surefire sales. Whereas with the 9th Doctor, they're going much more for just telling good stories first and foremost, I suppose.
Yeah. I think maybe because that's Eccleston, they're very much trying to please Eccleston, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true.
With the type of stories they're trying to say. So I don't think Eccleston leans into sort of the fan camp as much as Tennant probably does.
Yeah, Tennant was a huge fan, obviously, before, and I think still is, really, isn't he?
Yeah, it was weird because I was watching a panel, and one of the questions was, "What companion would you want to be?" And he was like, "I'd like to be Katerina the slave girl." I was like, "That's a deep cut reference, Tennant."
Yeah, I mean, I swear he was on something he worked on just before Doctor Who, like 2004 or something. He was working with an actor who had been in. Oh, I know who it was now. It was Bambera.
Oh,
Angela
okay.
Bruce. She was in something with them just before. Apparently, he was geeking out over her during that. That's mentioned in the Vortex article because they've got like a nice little interview with her about coming back to Bambera, and she mentions that in there, and that's just crazy
really
to think
wholesome.
about, isn't it? Yeah,
That is wholesome. Yeah, I like that.
maybe we get them meeting next.
Honestly, yeah, I'd be down for maybe like that's the next sort of classic companion to classic unit. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, he's technically met Klein in Colditz. That counts.
Got to meet the Brigadier at some point.
I feel like that should have been a given in the first set, really.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe they're saving that for something that isn't a like Class and Companion stuff. Maybe that's going to be more of its own thing.
Part of like the 60th release, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Similar to River and Bernice meeting, how that was sort of like saved for the big Legacy of Time thing, because loads of people were saying that, and it was such an obvious idea, so it was sort of nice to save that for more of a special occasion. So yeah, maybe that could be where it goes.
Time will tell, I guess, for that, really.
Yeah,
Time will tell.
That'd be interesting, because that will be the latest he'll meet the Brigadier in his life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because whereas with River Song, something like that is much more, well, not quite clear because it's much more timey-wimey there.
Yeah.
But like we have a clear beginning and end point, or a couple of end points for River when it comes to her life with the Doctor. Whereas with the Brigadier, we don't quite have that.
There's a few little gaps you can put in, really, yeah.
Yeah, like on TV, it's just Battlefield, and anything can go really after that. It almost makes you feel like maybe it was a blessing that they didn't meet in Wedding of River Song. Like blessing for Big Finish in that sense, because I feel like the way Russell T Davies often does that continuity, it is quite hard and nailed down then, and it will be, they now can't meet again in between Battlefield and that or something.
I think they did meet in a comic.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Tennant and Brick, not a Titan one, a Doctor Who magazine one. I think it was in the Betrothal of Sontar. I think it's in the first volume of Tennant comics. I could go and check because it's over there, but we've got things to talk about, other things to
we've got some
dive
big
into,
news, haven't we?
Yes. This is the joys of doing this stream later. We have the joy of talking about Neil Patrick Harris joining our first glimpse at the 60th anniversary, like proper photo, I believe.
Yeah, because many people were saying, "Is this from something else?" But like, I haven't seen anyone say that it is this picture of him. And why would you use a picture like this? Like, it's clearly him in character for whatever character this is going to be.
So I assume we're going to get him on location very soon.
Yeah, it seems to be the way. Apparently they're in Bristol, like on Wednesday, I heard.
Okay. Good old Doctor Who sausage roll hashtag doing its job. And I did notice that Russell commented on an Instagram post saying that this character will appear, villain will appear this year, but that comment's now been deleted.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
Does that tie into sort of the Christmas special? I wonder if I can get the photo up of it, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it makes is he going to be a villain throughout the trilogy then?
Yes.
I mean, from filming, we've seen certain other things going on in what is presumably the first special. And so it makes you maybe it could be a more recurring role throughout.
If I can screen share this just to back up the evidence, because the joys of Twitter. There we go.
Yeah.
You got
hello,
Johnson there.
Person, by the way.
Hello. Yes, got a little classic tag thing there, and they go this year.
Yeah.
So it's all very exciting. Have you got any theories of who it could be? I know there's one theory going around that it is a certain toy maker.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big one. I think the theory I like most that stems from that is the idea that he's behind the Doctor's face changing back to how it was, because like that idea of changing appearance was messed around with in time. Celestial toy maker.
And that was going to be the first regeneration story, technically, wasn't it?
Yeah, of sorts. And so, yeah, it would be interesting if that's how that is explained in universe. Or maybe it's something else entirely.
Or is it Land of Fiction? With other little bits coming back from the Doctor Who catalogue. If you don't know, not going to spoil it. But I think it's been pretty well documented of who it could be.
Have you seen him in anything, Neil Patrick Harris?
I've seen him in It's a Sin, and I think I've seen bits of How I Met Your Mother. I think he did that. Is it series of unfortunate events, that Netflix one?
Yeah, that's the only thing I've really seen him in. I did watch all the way through that. That was very good, and I think he's got the acting chops to pull off a villain.
He's a big catch for Doctor Who. I know I've seen a few people going, "Is that it?" Because I think there's a tendency of us all to get, "Oh, it's got to be another Doctor." You know, it's great, and that's where your mind naturally goes. So when you have like a casting announcement like that, I guess you do feel a little bit underwhelmed. But I think that it's a great person to have.
Yeah, when it's not a known character, or at least announced as a known character. Because I mean, with Yasmin Finney, we got a name there in Rose, whereas here we've got nothing other than. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's playing a villain, maybe even the villain, the main villain. But they haven't like explicitly said too much about it, and so that's quite curious. But yeah, as a actor, I think even though he's American, he's one you look at and think he is perfect for Doctor Who.
Yeah. And it makes you think if we're going to get like a musical episode, because I know that he's from Broadway, does a few musicals, so I wouldn't be surprised.
He did some singing in a series of unfortunate events. I mean, he sung the main theme song of that show, actually.
Well, there we go. So we could have our own musical episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, he could be doing the theme song tune.
I mean,
beside Murray Gold.
I mean, I saw Shooty Gatwa sing the theme tune like Doctor Who Poop did, like a little tweaked version. I was like, yeah, get that for that series of Shooty's first series. Yeah, use that as a theme.
I think someone edited like a couple of different Doctors together doing that. Like they all did different parts of it and Shooty.
Oh yeah, Smith and like Capaldi. Yeah. That was great.
But I mean, we mentioned Yasmin Finney a couple of minutes ago. I actually started watching Heartstopper.
Mel's done the same, and she's really enjoying it.
I'm 3 episodes in at the moment. It's pretty good so far. I mean, she hasn't had too much of a role in it yet, but I feel it's coming in the later episodes, because it at the moment is very much more setting up the main 2 characters and their relationship, and then you can see the seeds planted for more things that are going to happen with her and other characters. So yeah, I'm looking forward to where it goes.
I guess that's what you've been doing then, really.
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, that's all.
A little bit.
Should we move on to what we've been up to, Bix?
Let's segue into that. Yeah.
But yeah, that is one of the things I've been up to. I mean, they're quite short episodes, really half an hour each, and there's only 8 of them, so it's like doesn't chew into your time too much. Yeah. They feel longer than they are though, but not in a bad way, not in the sense that they drag a lot, but in the sense that it packs a lot into that short run time.
Okay.
It just feels weird seeing like that British school setting again done authentically on Netflix, because
Sex Education's got that weird amalgamation of like America sort of take on it, haven't they?
Yeah, like the way it's shot and everything, it feels very much more down to earth with Heartstopper.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I didn't realize about the show actually before I started it was that there's an all-boys school and an all-girls school.
Okay.
And so you have Yasmin's character. I can't remember her name now. And Elle, that's it. Elle.
Okay.
Or Ellie. It's Elle or Ellie, one of the two. Yeah, and since she's transitioned, she was at the boys' school before the show started, but with the start of the show, she's like just starting up at the girls' school.
Okay.
And so she almost works as the connective tissue between the 2 sides of the story.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. That works quite nicely. Yeah. How about you? What have you been up to?
Because of Out of Time coming out, I thought because McCoy's not getting any Tennant love, I thought I'd revisit Cold It, which has been quite nice actually. I forgot that it's quite a big step in Ace's character, really, because you get like David Tennant's character, offering to like strip search, or like it's a really good story for Ace actually. But that's the only bit of Doctor Who I've really done, because I've had Mel here for the past couple of days, so I've had to limit my geekiness and indulge
for a bit.
Yeah, and sort of not be in the Doctor Who bubble as much as I am right now. So it's nice to be back talking about Doctor Who. Which is all good, but that's been mainly me, really.
I suppose you've had a Doctor Who detox of sorts.
I have, and I feel like I'm going straight to like the strong stuff. We're getting a bit of Russell news, so yeah, it's all good. It's all good to dive back into it. It is. It really is.
Yeah. Stylist person says he was brilliant in a series of unfortunate events, talking about Neil Patrick Harris, of course. You mean you didn't see the live-action Smurf movies? Not that they're worth watching.
I have. I have.
I've seen one of them
on like ITV or Channel 5, aren't they, on like a Sunday?
Yeah, I've not like properly sat down and watched it, but it was like background viewing, I suppose, is the way.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Matt Smith Morbius stance meme? I've seen various words, including one with "I am the Doctor" over. Yes, I have seen one of those.
It's Morbin time. You can clip that and you can enjoy that. Yeah. We've all seen that cursed clip of Matt Smith.
Did you see they put Morbius back into cinemas and it flopped again? Like this multi-million-dollar company was gaslit by fans into re-releasing a film because of the memes, and it just ended up losing even more money.
I mean, they're going to commission Morbius 2 now, aren't they?
Yeah. And they're going to have him actually say it's Morbin time.
And they're going to get a Billy Mega Chippy £5 meal deal.
Morbius meal deal, yeah.
Yeah, get the Morbius meal deal.
Oh dear. And they're doing Spider-Man No Way Home again, though. The more fun stuff version, I think they're calling it.
Like a director's cut version, is it?
I'm not sure if director's cut is quite the word. I think it's more the studio wants to re-release it and get more money, but needs a way to make it different so that people actually want to go watch it again.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much extra stuff they're actually putting in, but
I know Kenobi's getting a cinema release, isn't it? All 6 episodes.
Yeah. Is that going to be over here, or is that just in America?
Probably just America.
Yeah, I think it's only going to be a small select number as well, but it's weird because people were talking about them doing that for The Mandalorian back in the day.
Well, it's like Pedro Pascal's like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a Mando movie, which I'm down for.
Yeah. Also, stylish person asks, have you seen Stranger Things? Not just the most recent seasons, but any of the past seasons. I'll let you answer first.
No. I've been meaning to, because of the like the big bad for this season looks pretty creepy. So I'm like, I want to give it a go.
Have you seen the running up that hill thing? Because that's been doing the rounds a lot.
It's in the it's in the charts, isn't it, Kate Bush? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's trending.
I have seen all the way up to all the recent episodes. Just waiting on the final 2 in a couple of weeks now. I think
How was the length of it? Because I know that season 4 is quite a chunky one in terms of like the runtime.
I mean, we were talking about a Mandalorian movie, but if they copy what Stranger Things has done, they could just easily do a Mandalorian feature-length episode at some point. But yeah, I mean, for me, the runtime feels justified. I think, it's not a show that's just started. It is a show that's been going for a while and is like this big hit. It's like grown a lot from where it started. So there's much more going on in terms of plot. And so I think it's justified in terms of a bit of an extra runtime, but you never feel it. It never feels like it drags out a bit. And so I don't really mind it. So I haven't obviously seen the final 2.5 hour episode or whatever it ends up being, so maybe my opinion will change there. But yeah, from what I've seen with the episodes, the longest one at the moment is the 7th one. That's like an hour and 38 minutes, I think.
Did you do that in one sitting, or did you have like little breaks, little comfort breaks?
One sitting, pretty much. I mean, I might have paused it
Okay.
at one point to like go to the toilet or grab a drink, but not like a full-on break.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and that went fine, really. I mean, the one thing I did notice with it was that usually I'd like stick on 2 episodes a night with the other seasons when they first come out and like binge through it fairly quickly. But with this, it was mostly 1 episode a night. That seemed a reasonable pace to go at with it. But I would definitely recommend jumping on that.
Yeah, I should do, really. Yeah.
It's got the good sci-fi vibes.
I've been recommended it, but it's one of those things where like you just put it on a list, but you'd rather rewatch something you've seen 20 times. Doctor Who. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose is it also like the because it's so popular, you almost don't want to touch it in a sense. You don't want to conform almost to the pressure.
See, that was me with like Game of Thrones. It's like it's been a few years. Maybe I can jump on it, but then you sort of feel a bit late jumping on the bandwagon, going, "Well, where have you been like the past 10 years?"
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people are still talking about Game of Thrones really now.
Yeah, well, it's House of Dragons now, isn't it, with Matt Smith?
Yeah, that's true. Are you going to be watching that from the start then?
Yeah, I will. I think that's same time as Andor. I think.
August 31st, is it?
Yeah, so around about the same time I think they come out.
Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going on outside the world of Doctor Who.
Yeah, now you've got Amazon's Lord of the Rings. That'd be interesting to see.
Is that starting this year?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's September as well.
Is it September, right? I mean, I know they've released a screenshot from it, didn't they?
There was a trailer a couple months back. I mean, this is a Doctor Who stream. We will get on to Doctor
Who. I remember now. I watched that trailer, but yeah, I completely forgot they ever did it. I was just remembering there was like that guy in the white cloak.
Yeah.
With the white cape. And I think it's some city. I want to say Minas Tirith, but it probably isn't. It's probably like a different one.
It does look a bit like Gondor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that same vibe to it. But yeah, I was just remembering that image. I completely forgot we did end up with a trailer at one point as well.
Yeah, this year. It's this year.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I'm quite excited for, I'm not sure if you might check it out because of the Mandalorian connection, The Last of Us TV series.
Oh, yeah.
Pedro Pascal in the main role as Joel. And he's
is that just finished filming, is it?
Yeah, that's just wrapped up filming. They released a still from that as well. I'm excited for that.
I want to check that out actually, because I've seen some of the gameplay of The Last of Us. So I wouldn't mind checking that out.
And again, he's sort of like in the fatherly role. So
is he going to be a better father?
A bit more this time.
Oh, well, don't know. I mean, he's in the Nicolas Cage movie, isn't he? Which I kind of want to see just because it looks quite memey.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, there's like a scene where they talk about their top 3 films of all time, and they mention Paddington.
I mean, Paddington's a great film.
Yeah, they like released. More outside of Doctor Who news. They've announced Paddington 3 is called Paddington in Peru, I think, or Paddington Goes to Peru, something like that. Yeah, they've and they've got a director attached as well, and it's going to start filming soon.
Well, that's going to be a wholesome film then.
Yeah. That's Paddington in Peru. I love a bit of Paddington. I wonder if Peter Capaldi's going to be back in that one.
I mean, that's if he's not filming the 60th anniversary.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'll have to see. But shall we talk about some Doctor Who news now?
Yes, let's do that. Because that's why we're here.
News. Yeah. We've done the Neil Patrick Harris side of Doctor Who news. Again,
pretty quiet news-wise the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, not too much for us to talk about.
I mean, if we do a stream on Friday, then hopefully we'll have some more exciting news to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, Stylish Person also points out The Last of Us has the girl from Game of Thrones as the lead child, Bella Ramsey. I think is the actress's name.
Okay.
Right. I remember she was also in His Dark Materials for a little bit.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out then, for sure. So news-wise, we had Think Before You Wink, Out of Time, Freeze Out. We'll talk about that probably towards the back end of the stream when we get on to reviewing Out of Time.
Yeah, got 2 more parts of the trilogy to go first.
We have Shilling and a Sixpence, Back on the Case, which has been like one of the Big Finish originals I've wanted to check out for a long time. But
we love our David Warner, don't we?
We love our David Warner. But hopefully now that's coming out, they might put the first series on sale, so I might be tempted just to pick it up. I mean, I've got the first episode for free because they give it away, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they're like only half-hour episodes, aren't they?
Yeah, so I should give that one a go.
I think they might be 2-parters. But like each part has a different name.
I mean, it's by Nigel Fairs, and we like our Nigel Fairs here.
Yeah. I think it was originally like a stage production, wasn't it?
That would make sense.
They adapted it to. Yeah. There's quite a few Big Finish alumni in the first box set. You got Lisa
Matthew
Bauman,
Waterhouse,
Louise Jameson. Yeah, Matthew Waterhouse as well. Nigel Fairs himself in the role. Yeah, certainly of the originals, it's the one that most intrigues me.
I think it's David Warner.
Yeah, that's true. Can't go wrong with Celia Marie either.
No, you can't really. I mean, I enjoyed her in Gallery of Ghouls, and I like her in Bells of St. John, and she was in like a comedy show back in 2006 with like the person who played Luke Rattigan and Nicholas Lyndhurst. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember enjoying that back in the day.
Should we talk about Sixth Doctor now?
Yes. Do you want to take it away?
The month after the next set. I'm not really sure how much there is to say. It's a bit of... and I'm not really familiar with Shirley Lee Houston.
She's Coronation Street. I've seen bits of her in Coronation Street in like the background.
Obviously an accomplished actress. Got an MBE.
Yes, for sure. And obviously Hebe's friend by the looks of it.
Yeah. What's the character? Is it Elise is the character name.
Elise, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we've also got another friend of Hebe's coming along, Patricia McBride, a brilliant anthropologist on the verge of a great revelation. So apparently they're sort of getting like a crew together for almost like a unit family-esque scenario with these box sets going forward, is what they say here.
So maybe we're going to get like a big old finale where they all sort of do a Marvel team up. I don't know.
Or Rusty Davis team up.
Yeah, Rusty. Yeah, still
he did it first with.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, true. Marvel Comics did it before, and DC Comics, but on TV.
Yeah. It's fine. It's all good.
This is Doctor Who, so we can make Doctor Who comparisons. But we've got 3 stories again, 3 two-parters, presumably, with The Mindless Ones by Paul Marks, Reverse Engineering by Jonathan Morris again. He did one for the first set as well. I think. Yeah, he did the last story.
The last one, yeah. The Maelstrom.
Yeah. And then finally there's Chronomancer by Robert Valentine, who's also the script editor of this series. So presumably that will have some finale type vibes to it, I'm guessing.
I mean, hopefully. They're building up a little team like we said earlier.
But I was hoping for a 4-part today, but don't want to get too disappointed about what we're not getting when I haven't even heard what we are going to get.
Yeah, it's hard to get excited about this release just yet because there's no story details. We don't know how said cliffhanger for Waterworlds concludes yet. Like even the title of the box set doesn't really give it away.
No.
Purity of the Undreamed.
Yeah. Well, no, just Purity Undreamed.
Purity Undreamed.
Yeah. I mean, no cover either or anything. It feels weirdly bare bones an announcement for something that is 2 months away. Like we've got all the covers and everything else for August, so. But I'm sure it'll come in due time.
And even a little bit of September Big Finish action to get excited about, which is the 10th Doctor Classic Companions trailer, which was released. What do you make of that trailer? I don't think it's on the little tab here.
No. I think you're going to have to go.
It seems to be there.
In the What's New, aren't you? Scroll along.
On the What's
I
New.
really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good trailer.
Oh, the Scottish bit. I was like, that's a nice little bit.
Nice little touch.
It was just having Tennant just shout K9, and I was
the pure joy in his voice.
Like you have that little smile on your face, going, "Oh, it's going to be that special release." And I feel like it. I know you're not. I say you're not a physical media collector in terms of Big Finish, but this year's sort of been an exception for you.
Yeah, of sorts. Certainly when it comes to like the pure Doctor Who relaunch stuff.
I feel like this one's kind of one you want to put on your shelf. Like it does feel like an event one. I mean, I know the price for 3 stories is a little bit quite high in terms of Big Finish because you think that would be what, 20 quid,
especially when you don't even get individual covers or a behind the scenes disc.
Yeah, because you think back in the day when we were getting into Big Finish, a box set was 20 quid, 4 stories, £5 a story. You thought bargain. No, that's not the case.
No, not in a bundle we can get this with.
No, you've just got to bite the bullet and hope for the best, really.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's still probably better value than Philip Hinchcliffe Presents originally was.
True, and I'm probably going to listen to this more than Philip Hinchcliffe Presents.
That's true. That aspect, we're on a Tennant high at the moment, aren't we? So this can only be a good thing for us.
Out of Time is very much the Doctor celebration. Now we're getting the companions turn up, and yeah, the Axon story intrigues me the most, I think.
Yeah, the Vase as well. I think the Nissa one probably intrigues me the least.
Yeah.
And then we've got Leela in the middle there.
But yeah, solid writers.
Yeah, and solid trailer for a change, because often Big Finish trailers can be quite hit or miss.
Yeah, but I think definitely
just the very nature of doing audio trailers. Sometimes it's a bit difficult.
You haven't got that sort of visual stimulus, have you, to go, oh, that looks cool. You're just going off sound, really, and you're just getting like little snapshots of a story. But this flowed very nicely.
Yeah, Stylish Person says it's accentception with David Tennant. He's a brilliant actor. He truly is.
Oh yeah, he's definitely, for me, national treasure. That's another thing I've done. I rebooked David Tennant's play.
What's that?
Good. I think it's about. I think it's a World War II, set in World War II. Booked it before the pandemic, and obviously Corona hit. Got to push back, and then finally was able to rebook it again. So I'm looking forward to getting more Tennant content.
Is that presumably like going to start up just after he finishes filming for 60th?
I think it starts in October. October, and then it finishes Christmas Eve. So yeah, it's on for a couple of months. So
that does line up about then.
I mean, we don't know if Tennant's in all 3 specials. Well, that's the thing. There's that thing of it's 3 specials.
Yeah, I mean, even the Mirror is reporting on stuff now, aren't they?
Which they seem to have had a good hit rate with getting stuff right.
Yeah, I think specifically this journalist, it seems.
So we'll have to wait and see, really, because people are saying Matt Smith's linked to the project, which would make sense because one of those things what first came out of it would be like a mini series between Tennant and Smith. But yeah,
so someone joked that Smith could voice Beep the Meep.
I saw that. That'd be something special. It's Meeping time.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, imagine that. They'll get the guy from Morbius in Doctor Who.
That's the thing. People only know Matt Smith because of Morbius now, not
because of the dance scene.
Yeah, mental. How the mighty have risen.
Yeah. He's in the stratosphere now. He's too big for our little sci-fi show.
Damn.
Yeah, last bit of news is Jekyll and Hyde's finally got a cover.
What, we're really going that deep?
We might as well. Not much.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess we're big Fetish fans. Mads, is that at August, isn't it?
It's almost like it's August. It's almost our Morbius, isn't it? Because it's a meme. It's been hanging around in the background for so long. They put up the pre-order so long ago and then just seemingly forgot about it because Nick always was busy writing something else and something else. Yeah,
it must be about 5, 6, 7 years old. This has to be.
I think it's also just curious to talk about because it's a very different kind of cover. And I mean,
done
it's
by Harry Sullivan.
Yeah, Christopher Naylor. And it's actually hand drawn as well, I believe, or hand painted even. A bit, but
I do like it though.
Yeah, I think it's very striking. Yeah, it makes you wonder, could Christopher Naylor be doing more for them? So I think he sells his own artworks as well.
The Doctor ones he just looks really good because I think he's just like the first 4 Doctors. I'm kind of tempted to pick up the Pertwee one. And I know just like some of the James Bond ones as well. But it'd be quite interesting to see him tackle like a 4th Doctor cover or just a Doctor Who cover in general, really.
Yeah, especially in this style. Because I think after this, Big Finish did tweet out saying, what other styles would you like to see us do? And it was like a picture of Christopher Naylor doing the painting of this cover.
I mean, do you have a favourite type of cover sort of design?
I mean, certainly Photoshop is probably the way I like most. But I think it's nice to mix things up every once in a while. I think especially with something like this, it feels very striking and different. Whereas I feel like a lot of the digital paintings, they don't feel quite as special as something like this because it does just feel like a Photoshop work with a filter over it. Even though it's not, you still can't help but look at it and think it does just feel that way sometimes.
I think this style of artwork lends itself to Jekyll and Hyde actually quite well.
It feels like quite a striking movie poster, doesn't it?
Yes, like very much so. Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing if they could, maybe not in this style exactly, but still a painted cover of some kind for
characters in a line.
Yeah, painted cover of characters in a line. Perfect. Yeah. Just what we want.
That's what you need.
I think there's definitely potential for something there.
1,000 copies if you want it. So pick it up.
So it does make it look like it'd stand out in person. I'm not tempted by the physical, don't worry.
No, I
probably won't even go to download, but
I mean, you're a changed man this year, so I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna be buying.
God, I'm unpredictable.
You really are at this point. I can just get a message going, bought Jekyll and Hyde.
Still waiting for my out of time free to turn up. So.
Mine actually turned up on Saturday, actually.
Yeah. Still no sign of mine yet. But it was dispatched on the release day.
No Eccleston.
No,
still no Back to Earth. But at least we're
people
old
might get the vinyl first.
Well, imagine if the roles were reversed now. The vinyls come
Yeah,
before
like
the
we switch
CDs.
round and then.
Oh dear me!
It'd just be our luck.
It really would be. Really would be. I guess should we dive into sort of the main topic of today's stream?
Yeah, let's get going with Out of Time, the event trilogy, I suppose.
It has
the last
that.
few years.
It has that summer blockbuster feel, doesn't it? It was that sort of event everyone was experiencing.
Yeah, I think it helps that it was so cheap as well, isn't it? Like, it's not this huge box set. It's not something you have to pour so much money in. It is just a quick £9 if you just want the download, 11 if you want the CD, and 1 hour sat listening, you're done, and everyone can then go talk about that. And particularly for the first one, the hype was there for it. They held it off right till the end of August, I remember, didn't they?
Yeah, very much, yeah.
And then opposite with Out of Time 2, that was bang at the start of June.
Was that out 3rd of June by any chance?
It might have been.
Because the story references 3rd of June. I was like, oh, is that why they put it out early June?
It might have even been like the 1st or the 2nd. I think no later than the 4th.
Yeah, because it was very early on, that one.
Yeah, definitely caught us off guard. Let's see when the trailer came out. It's probably the easiest way to.
Yeah, probably best to see.
They've even had like their own unique style of trailers, haven't they?
Yeah, because Out of Time 1, you had sort of the Weetabix was sort of cut out, which, lends itself to the Tom Baker years, which I really liked. I thought that was a really nice little trailer. I think maybe that's been my favourite of the 3.
Yeah, I'd agree there.
And then Gate of Hell was a board game.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
it was June 2nd, by the way.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
It was back at the start of the month.
Blimey. I think the game aspect of that trailer really lends itself for that story because it does feel like a game of cat and mouse and trying to sort of fix problems and all that sort of stuff. Whereas the Wink trailer felt very much, it was like a little comic trailer, wasn't it? Like an annual feel, wasn't it?
Oh, I loved the weeping angel at the end. I could see it coming a mile off with the image of an angel becoming an angel. But it's still something a bit creepy about that. I think because of the style of it as well, because it was animated, even though it was this regular living room, it does sort of have that feel of an indie horror game.
Yes, yeah.
And so I think that's creepier than anything in the actual story, funnily.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about Wink later on, but yeah, I'd say that it's not a very creepy angel story.
No, it's more of an intriguing one.
Yeah, for sure.
Why that's the case.
But should we dive into the first story, shall we?
Yeah, just Out of Time.
Just Out of Time.
Yeah, it was an odd one with the trilogy because it's Out of Time, then Out of Time 2, Gates of Hell, Out of Time 3, Wink. It's not something you really expect with Doctor Who when it comes to individual stories. Like with Big Finish box sets, you get that sort of thing all the time.
I mean, having it on a shelf, you do kind of wish it wasn't a box set because it'd been in a nice little slipcase.
Tenant on the spine.
Tenant on the spine. Life's good.
Yeah. But I feel like it would have been too much in one go.
Oh yeah, you'd be overstuffed for sure.
Yeah, I think they'd all just overshadow each other, really, wouldn't they?
And I think spacing it out each year, it felt good to have that sort of thing to look forward to in a way.
Yeah, that's true. You knew you were getting, especially with David Tennant having recorded so much, it was good to space that out. So not quite drip feeding it as such, but just so that they made it last, I suppose, because we don't know when we'll get any more of him.
Yeah, well, even now, yeah, this definitely now we don't know when we're going to get more Tennant for sure. unless he finishes the project that still hasn't finished.
Yeah. I mean, we know we're getting more of him on TV at least, so that's good. But yeah, it's funny to think that this Out of Time 1, when it came out, we'd only had 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 1, 2, and 3. We've had so much more since this.
It was the start of the Big Finish really nailing the 10th Doctor, I would say.
Yeah, that's what. Just the 10th Doctor renaissance at Big Finish in general, really.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, this is the joy of, because we did Volume 3 fairly recently. It was a joy revisiting that, but then you get something like this where you just think that's pure 2008, 2009 vibes right there.
It's the dream as a kid, isn't it? When you're getting into Classic Who, you're getting the DVDs, Tennant's on the screen. This is the sort of thing you imagine happening in your head. This is very much you're playing with your action figures and you're getting used to Kelly. You're mixing the classic and new Daleks. I think that's what this feels like. This just feels like having fun with your action figures in a good way.
I would say out of the three, I think Gates of Hell's probably the one I can imagine most on TV.
I mean, maybe that's helped by the fact we did have Davison on TV with Tennant, even if it was for a mini-sode.
But I think Out of Time in general just feels like a lost era of Tennant content. It just feels like a nice gap you would have had in 2009 with whether that be like the books to tie you over or like a little mini series before End of Time, because Out of Time does lean into whether that be Time Lord Victorious or sort of the back end of Tennant's era very well, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, this very much feels like it could be a special slotted in between on TV.
Yeah, especially Wink with like the little TARDIS car looking thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's very much taking it straight from End of Time. But I mean, this story even uses that as a plot point. It says party planning.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's trying to dance the night away before he regenerates, I suppose.
I mean, I think what's lovely about this one is that he's not going in to meet the Fourth Doctor. He's very much shying away from it, whereas the other two stories, it just kind of happens, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, they jump straight into it in the other two stories. This one builds up that tension. He spends a lot of the story pretending to be someone else, doesn't he, really? And just admiring his past self from afar for the most part.
Which I think is great, because I think that this story, out of all three of them, no offense to the other two, this one felt like an occasion.
I suppose it helps that it's the first, doesn't it? And I mean, Daleks, they're the big enemies. So
I think that this is the most simple story of Out of Time, but no means does that make it the worst.
No. Especially when you're only an hour long, I think simplicity is an asset, really, and this makes use of that brilliantly because it gives you all the fun moments you'd expect and still throws one or two twists in there to keep you on your toes, just keep you enjoying it.
It's light, it's fluffy, and it's just a lot of fun.
A lot of good Dalek action as well. That's that nice scene with the paint pots, isn't there?
But then it can have that fun. But then, like the last 5 minutes, you have this is one of my favorite moments from the story, or Out of Time in general, is just having 4 and 10 talk about Sarah Jane.
Yeah, it's very somber, isn't it?
It's it's just a nice little touch.
Because for him, this is set after Deadly Assassin, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, after Blood of the Time Lords now, I suppose. Yeah.
But yeah, I love the setting, the Cathedral of Contemplation.
It's a brilliant idea having like this. I mean, it's literally Out of Time, isn't it? That's where the title comes from. And so you've got this cathedral outside of space and time where the Doctor visits just coincidentally at the same time, really.
Yeah, because you've got him sort of Fourth Doctor restoring like paintings, whereas the 10th Doctor's very much, where can I have a bit of fun?
Yeah.
And this is sort of in between sort of the Dalek War, Draconia sort of stuff, so it ties into Frontier in Space lovely.
They don't quite explain why it's a new series Supreme, but we can get over it. We don't mind. We like our new series Supreme. And I think it works as an image on the cover, doesn't it? Having Fourth Doctor, classic Daleks, 10th Doctor, and a new Dalek.
It's like what you say. It's the action figure story.
You
know, back in 2008, you'd have your Genesis Dalek, you'd have your Red Supreme Dalek. So it just lends itself to that very much action figure quality to it.
Yeah, I think when you're a kid, you can't afford to be as picky when it comes to what figures you buy and such. I mean, you're not even picky now; you get them all. But
that's just down to sheer madness on my half, really.
Yeah. But I mean, you'd have like parents, grandparents, relatives, whatever, buying random ones for you on the odd occasion. You don't really have much say in them sometimes. And other times when you do have a say, it's just whatever you fancy on the day. Like you're not deliberately trying to build a third Doctor collection of figures or something like that. You're just
a Laszlo collection.
You're just ending up with an assortment of different figures, really, aren't you? And this does have that quality to it. It just takes you back to being a kid again.
I think that's the joy of Out. I think that's the best way to sum up Out of Time. It just makes you feel like a kid again. Well, that's just me with the Tennant audios, to be honest. Like, there's not much you really can say about the story. I feel like if you want to get into Big Finish, it seems like obvious to say, but I think it's probably one of the best jumping on points.
I agree. Yeah, I mean it's the one I used to get my brother into Big Finish, so
there you go. It works.
I mean, unless you're like only into New Who and you're like tempted to check out more 10th Doctor or something, it's probably not the best way to go. But I feel like in the Big Finish pipeline, people will more start with New Who, go into Classic Who, and then go filter down to Big Finish. I don't think there's many who do jump straight from New to Big Finish. There are some, but I think with Christopher Eccleston, especially Ravagers, quite a few people were diving in, mainly for that hunger for it, because he only did the 13 on TV.
It's that curiosity, isn't it, with Eccleston?
Yeah, I think that's perhaps why so many who hadn't dived into Big Finish before did with him. But yeah, certainly if you're like in that pipeline, you've gone through some Classic Who, you're tempted to try out some Big Finish but don't know where to start, this is definitely the place to go. It makes you wonder, what would we have done had we not got into Big Finish when we did? If we were gonna start it now, do you think you'd go here?
I think so, because it's such a big drawing factor of like the most popular Doctor from the 21st and the 20th century. It just feels like, yeah, I want a bit of that in my ears.
Yeah.
But then again, would I want to go for something like with Tim Treloar stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like you'd want to start with the original actors.
Yeah.
But,
I think I probably would have done, because Tom's one of my favorite Doctors. Tennant's that childhood, so I think it just seems like a natural one to like be gravitated towards.
Yeah, I mean, what would you rate it, this one?
Oh, it's probably like a 9 out of 10.
I think I'd go solid 8.
Solid. I just like the vibes of it, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's one I've stuck on a load of times, and just quite happily listen to it. It is, and I'm sure when we do we've got a little project planned what involves sort of a Big Finish for all occasions, and I have a feeling that this is going to be on that list for sure.
Yeah, I suppose. Shall I move on to Out of Time 2, The Gates of Hell?
Yes, Electric Boogaloo for Out of Time. So now I've just got to skip backwards. Hopefully it's there.
Yeah. Well, let's see if anyone in the chat has anything to say about Out of Time 1. Sarge Person has said, I'm so happy Big Finish did that tweet asking what kinds of covers people would like to see. Makes less of a disconnect between Big Finish and its customers. Did you reply to that tweet? I did not reply to that tweet, no, but I'm not sure how much of that actually does end up filtering through to like the higher ups, people actually make these decisions. But it is nice, nevertheless, to have that sort of thing out there. I feel like Big Finish is a small enough company that there would be some connection. Like if people are discussing things enough, it would go up the food chain, so to speak.
They did do a tweet, wasn't it? Would you rather have more artwork or behind the scenes or something like that? There was something like that, wasn't it?
Oh no, it's more artwork or at a higher price.
Higher price, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Lower prices, but only one cover.
Yeah. I don't know if that's
how that
actually works. Well, that's coming to fruition.
I feel like it has ended up being less artwork and only
cheaper price.
Well, not too much.
Wow.
Same price, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't mind a mix.
I think it depends on the range, really, for me.
Yeah, because like, you don't really need it for something like Unit, to be honest.
No.
Sorry, Unit, but...
Which unit we talking about?
Either at this point.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like Unit Nemesis is fine with just the one cover. I think it's also more making better use of the one cover. So I think a lot of recent releases sadly haven't. Things like Annihilators and 40 are good examples of like showing off the whole box set, what you're getting there.
Yeah,
whereas other ones haven't quite managed that, such as the First Doctor Adventures and Second Doctor Adventures. As I've come around on that First Doctor Adventures cover.
It's better in hand, that one, for sure.
Yeah. But nevertheless, there is that feeling of, this isn't really encompassing the box set as such.
Yeah, it doesn't make you... If you saw it in the shop, you wouldn't naturally pick that one up straight away.
Whereas Sixth Doctor Adventures as well. I mean, it fits the Waterworld's vibe, but there's not really anything that relates it to the second and third story in the set.
That is true. Which is a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that worked so well about the that style of covers they did for a little while with Eighth Doctor and Lucy Miller and Sixth Doctor and Perry, where it's like those windows into different stories.
Yeah, for Seventh Doctor New Adventure as well, yeah. I liked that Will Brooks sort of style. I think it worked better on the Lucy and New Adventures, Seventh Doctor bar Six and Perry. I don't think it quite worked.
I think it was the green, really, wasn't it? It just didn't feel quite right.
I admire it, but yeah, it's not the one for me.
The headless one as well on the cover. I don't know if it's Uncanny Valley or if it's just the it's not really a good editing job, but yeah, that sticks out like a sore thumb a bit. I mean, it's also a shame that with no individual covers for that one, we don't get to see the Sixth Doctor in the Third Doctor's costume.
Which is a selling point. That should have been the main cover photo for it, really. But hey,
I mean, that was how I got you to listen to that story.
It's the only story I've listened to from that box set.
Yeah.
I mean, we did want to review it in May, but we didn't get around to it.
No, I mean, maybe we will at some point, but
we'll add it to the list. We'll put it back on the pile.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay to hell. Should we move on to that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna read Stage Preston's last two messages.
Okay.
Also, it seems a lot of people either enter Photoshop or vinyl styles of cover. The digital paintings seem to get a bit of slack. And got to go, but see you later. Thank you for joining us, Stage.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
And
if you're watching this on catch up, hello, welcome back.
Negative reaction. Which is a shame because the artist does put a lot of effort into them. But yeah, I think it's maybe just a case of too much of them, really, isn't it?
I think if it was just limited to the audio novels and the War Doctor, I would be fine with it. Like I get the Doctor of War stuff because that lends into the War Doctor
It's
stuff.
Time War, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas Waterworld's, even having that in person, I don't think it lends itself as well as like the Outlaws does.
I mean, the Outlaws is slightly different as well because it's not quite the same painted style. It's not the like more blurry with the lines going down it. I think Outlaws and Second Doctor Beyond War Games have their own separate painted style from the main painted style, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's just overabundance of it, sadly, is what's probably causing more negativity than it actually deserves as a style.
Because when it was announced, it felt like very fresh and different. It made you sort of more excited for those releases. But now, the more you have of something, the less special it feels. Yeah.
We actually thought, oh, let's do loads of this.
Yeah. And then it's not the one, Chief.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have minded it for Eighth Doctor and Charlie Day because it could have been a way around the
TV movie,
TV movie issue. Yeah, that's one space they will allow. If we got another TV movie McGann cover coming up, maybe try that and see if we can get him looking like that on it without the mouse threatening to sue.
That is a shit. Yeah, that is a shame. But then, doesn't the mouse become in public domain in a couple of years' time? So, who knows?
Well, that one affects.
Well, yeah, true. Oh, true.
That'll just affect the mouse itself. We'll just get Mickey Mouse on Big Finish covers because we can.
Yeah, just get McGann to beat up said mouse. Yeah.
Well, yesterday says agree. It's just the sameness of it. Yeah, it's a shame. Hopefully they maybe pull back on it a little bit now. I mean, we'll be getting it for the next Sixth Doctor cover, the Purity Undreamed. But hopefully, aside from that, that'll be it for this year. Oh, and War Doctor begins for.
I think if they just tweaked the style of it, how it's done on the canvas, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah, certain ones the composition just isn't quite there. Like War Doctor begins free. I mean, yeah, we've got to be careful of how we react to this Jekyll and Hyde cover now, because otherwise, next year every single cover will be painted like the hat, and we'll have the same problem all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah. Out of Time 2, anyway.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo. What did you make of this one?
I really enjoyed this one.
Yes.
I think, yeah, it's just, again, a lot of fun. It's not quite as horror vibes as I was expecting. Maybe that made me enjoy it a bit less on the first listen.
You think like the Paris catacombs are like the perfect place for a Cyberman story, like body horror, dead bodies, great. But story doesn't do it, which is a shame.
But you sort of like underestimate it in the sense that it is an hour long and it is a multi-doctor story. There's only so much you can do there with that.
If anything, I feel like this one has the most legs to be a double disc one.
Yeah, agreed. It does go at a rollicking pace. Like you're jumping through time a lot throughout this one.
Yeah, because you get sort of like the establishment of like the tour of the catacombs, the little history of it with the Fifth Doctor and Tina, or Madame Pompanoose, is it? Pompanoose?
Yeah, isn't that it's some fruit, isn't it?
Yeah, is it pomegranate? No, not pomegranate. Something pimp grapefruit. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, something amusing.
And then you have sort of Tennant and the TARDIS having a good old time, arriving in Nazi-occupied France, and then next minute, the Fifth Doctor's been trapped in a vault, and then time all catches up.
Yeah, they crash into each other, don't they? Pretty much.
I think, like you say, that because these Tennant and Davison are having a lot of fun, it just becomes quite an infectious one to listen to because they're just bouncing off each other so brilliantly.
It's wonderful to have that with the Doctors because oftentimes when the Doctor meets themselves, there's much more hostility there. There's a lot more friction. Whereas with these two, I think the way I described it was oftentimes the Doctors feel like brothers. Like, they love each other at the end of the day, but they're going to have that bickering.
Yeah.
Whereas these two, they feel more like best friends. They really enjoy each other's company.
Especially at the end where, we really should stop doing this.
No, we really should.
Yeah. Because it just sort of follows on nicely from Time Crash, which I really like.
Yeah, I mean, it even has a sly reference to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. It is wonderful.
I mean, back to Pomplamoose, Tina. She's a wonderful character in this as well.
It's that nice bridge of new series and classic, isn't it?
Yeah, with the time agent, obviously, having been referenced in Talon of Wing Chiang, but you don't actually meet a time agent until the new series with Empty Child Doctor Answers. I mean, it's even 51st century again, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, it's the same for all three, isn't Talons and
so.
Captain Jack?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
But I mean, the Cybermen themselves in this, like we say, it doesn't quite use the body horror too much. There's a nice moment where they're talking about the missing aristocrats, though.
I like that, how Reign of Terror.
It uses a lot of French history, doesn't it? And the King Charles the Mad as well. Is it Charles?
Was it King? Yeah, probably is Charles. Or I was thinking Louis, but yeah, maybe.
Maybe I think it is Louis actually. Yeah, Charles is a very French name.
I'll just say Louis for now. But yeah, you can imagine that sort of because it goes all a bit medieval, doesn't it? With that like nice little storytelling of it.
Yeah, you even get like a flashback, don't you, to that time?
Yeah, which you feel like completely unnecessary, but I'm here for it.
I wonder if this must be quite high up there as the most different time periods within an hour.
Oh, it's got to be number one for sure, surely.
Yeah, but it never feels bloated with them.
No,
it all flows very well.
There's a reason and purpose for it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the one perhaps downside of it is that the Cybermen sort of have a reduced role as it goes along. Like you see the future Earth dominated by them quite early on. And then after that, you've only really got one or two hanging around throughout the rest of the story. Because it's about them trying to avert that future from ever happening.
Because it's more sort of Mark Gatis's character who is sort of a villain of tragedy within it, really.
Yeah, he's more the face of the Cybermen, isn't he? He's very much at the heart of the story as well.
Yeah. And I think Mark Gatiss does one of his best performances, if not his best performance on Big Finish.
Yeah, he gives it a lot for this one.
Sort of bringing this sort of different stage of that character's life brilliantly, just a good job.
Yeah, he does a very good job at both being disarming and quite nice and charming, but also getting the evil across at the same time.
There's that sort of unnerving feel to him, isn't there?
Especially during the scene, sort of like the middle part of his life where he's holding a gun on them.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the strongest bit of his performance. But also, his relationship with his dad as well, like the teaser, it just packs so much into an hour, this story. I think that's one of the things I've come to admire a lot about this is how much stuff leaves an impact in such a short time. It really does use its time very effectively.
I definitely appreciate this one way more on re-listen than I did last year when I first listened to it.
I suppose part of it is what we were getting in for.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas before we had this image built up of what the story could be in our heads, and it didn't live up to that as such.
But yeah, it's just a real romp. This one is. I think the lovely references to City of Death, or we had ice cream with Romana there, or how reckless the Fourth Doctor was, just sort of parking anywhere in like the Louvre because he was just reckless, which I appreciate. It's just all good stuff.
Yeah.
The occupied France with the Cybermen. I think that's one of the strongest bits within the story from memory. And it's made me excited for the Bernice box set in Germany now, because I'm like, if that's going to be more of the same stuff, really.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm excited for that box set. But I love like that quiet scene where they're in the tunnel, like found this camp of survivors, but surviving no more. They survived a little while, and it's just them doing little bits of research about what's happened and just bouncing off each other quite nicely there while they do it. I think there's something. I mean, the Doctor himself, both of them comment it's nice to have like that quiet moment in all this and just enjoy each other's company. And I think we as an audience feel the same way. We are enjoying that little calm in the middle of a storm.
I think there's just a nice. It's wrong to say pairing because it's three characters really, but they're the same character. They're two of the most human Doctors against a very unhuman, emotionless monster, really. So I think that's a nice pairing.
Yeah, you're bang on there. I mean, it's also like the Cybermen are the Fifth Doctor's enemy in a way, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess this is after all the Mark stuff, really. So I guess he said his piece to Adric, and
yeah. I mean, it's or maybe this is during the Mark stuff.
Maybe, yeah,
because that's when he's on his own. That's one of the gaps he has. Unless
it's his time apart. This should have been in Time Apart.
Yeah, I guess that could be.
Yeah, this could have been a main range story for sure.
I mean, the 11th Doctor remembers Mark, so.
No, there you go. Spoilers if you don't know.
Well, I mean, I haven't said where.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You'll have to figure that out for yourself if you have not listened to it.
I mean, I almost forgot about that one existing.
Yeah, it's easily done.
It's been a while because so much content piles on since. Like, we get 4 box sets a month at this point.
I mean, it's been nearly 2 years, so not surprising, really. But yeah, this is a joy. This one.
Yeah, there's also quite a nice line from the Cybermen. I can't remember. Is it like flesh units or something?
Bio units, is it?
Bio units. That's it. There's something that works quite well about that. I don't know if it's taken from another story or is used in any other stories, but I do like that as how the Cybermen refer to humans in their post-apocalyptic ruled world.
I just like the visual of just Cybermen bursting out of like the graves and like the tombs and stuff like that. I just think it just sort of reminds me of like the Next Doctor, because that's one of the things what struck me as a kid is like when they're marching through like the graveyard to kill all the people at the funeral.
That's true.
And just the visual of like the TARDIS being covered in like all like the ivy and stuff. I think that's a very sort of Legopolis feel to it.
Oh, imagine the 10th Doctor in the 5th Doctor's console room as well.
You could, even though it's audio, you can just imagine. Well, you don't really have to imagine because like there's a lot of Glee in Tennant's performance about like how minimal it is and just the roundels and the little toggles,
But which console is it?
Oh, that's
is it the pre-5 Doctors or
See, I imagined 5 Doctors, but I guess with the toggles, it's got to be the 19 and 21.
Yeah, and actually, that would work with Time Apart.
Well, there we go.
There, mystery solved.
Oh, solve our own mystery.
Yeah, there we go. But I mean, what would you give it out of 10? I think we at that point with this one.
I would say a solid 8.
I think I'd agree there. I'd like to push for a 9, but I think 8 is where this one lies for me. It's my favourite of the 3.
Oh, is it?
Hmm.
Okay. I think this has got the most story to it out of the three.
Yeah, that's true. They've all got quite timey-wimey plots, but they don't feel overly complex in their timey-wiminess.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Out of Time 1's definitely the most simple when it comes to that. Because because it is all like linear, there isn't really much jumping about in time. It's just used as the mechanism for the 4th and 10th Doctor to meet, really. And then after that, it's pretty straightforward.
Whereas this one, like you say, it's all over Paris and different timelines.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whistle-stop tour of French history, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You got the Reign of Terror.
Yeah, because you even get bits what aren't really featuring the Doctors, but are French history, like you say, with Mark Gase's character sort of promising aristocrats a new life in England, but sadly they become the Cyber Army.
Yeah, it's again that show don't tell thing, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
Show as well as you can on an audio, but like while they're doing their research, you don't just have them talking about it. You do get like that little flashback scene of them being led to the Cybermen.
It's just a nice little detail what you didn't need, but I appreciate it.
Especially getting more of Mark Gatiss' performance as well. You can't go wrong there.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so shall we move to the main event now, I suppose?
I guess so, wink.
Yeah, the most recent of the three.
I'm going to have to... I've got to go backwards for this one. I think I have. Is it going to work?
Hopefully so.
Yeah, there we go.
There he is. There's Colin.
There he is, Colin boy.
Yeah. I mean, originally due for next month when they first announced all of these, but we got it brought forward when it swapped with Unit. Brand new Brave New World.
Yeah,
Seabird 1. I mean, this one in a way has some stuff going against it. Like it's the third of the trilogy now, so the appeal's worn off a bit. It no longer feels as special having the 10th Doctor meet a classic Doctor.
Yeah.
It's also the Weeping Angels in it, which, no offense to them, because they're brilliant villains. But when you go from the Daleks and the Cybermen, they are the two heavy hitters. They're the big two. And then there's always like in that third spot, there's a lot of contention, isn't there? There's like no clear. It's always obvious that the Daleks number 1, the Cybermen number 2. I mean, some people would maybe argue the Master at number 3, but then do you really count him as a monster, or is he his own?
He's a villain.
Yeah. So, what is the third monster? Saltaran Ice Warrior? I mean, Weeping Angel? It's like there's a lot of competition as to what could go there. And so having the Weeping Angels here, it does just feel a bit... I think whatever you went for with this, it would feel like the leftovers, really.
And that's no slight on Colin at all.
But again, on the topic of Colin, when you've got the 10th Doctor meeting the 4th Doctor, he is the big one of the classic series, really. He is the one you'd want him to meet. 5th Doctor, obviously father-in-law to David Tennant. Like, that's such an obvious combination. It was already done with Time Crash as well before they were even related like that. So it was like obvious to play with that for an hour-long proper story. With Colin, he was available to record during lockdown, really.
And I think what doesn't help this as well, 2022 is the year of Colin. And I think you kind of are oversaturated. I love Colin. I like his Doctor. But you do get a little bit fatigued.
Yeah. He works great opposite David, though.
I've got a bit of criticism with that.
Oh, really?
Now, I get we're going for more of a Big Finish Colin. But there's something... you talked about that Doctors like brothers, they bicker.
Yeah.
This is the pairing I wanted to have bickering. Because these are the two ego Doctors. Tennant's the vanity Doctor. Colin's just a bit of an arrogant bugger. So having that clash of egos, I think, would have added more of an interesting dynamic for these.
Yeah, it could have done something different with that. All right. One thing I do like though about when it comes to Weeping Angels is that they've done something that I had in my head for a while would be brilliant for a multi-Doctor story involving them, in that a Doctor is sent back to the past by Weeping Angel and runs into either his past or future self. And they finally do that in this story. That's how the Doctors come across each other in the timey-wiminess of this one.
Does this explain the whole Out of Time trilogy? Because there's like time disturbances or...
No, I think that's just this story.
Okay.
Really. I mean, they each have their own different explanation, really, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose they do, yeah.
I mean, you
I
do
thought since this was like the last one in the trilogy, that would be like the explanation for it, but yeah.
Speaking of trilogy, it does just feel like they had the first two laid out and then realized we can't just do two. We've got to do one more and make it a trilogy. So this feels a bit more tagged on in that sense as well.
I think it's more down to the idea, because I don't know if any one of you've seen like convention panels with like Colin, and like he's like, "Oh, the Weeping Angels are rubbish because you've just got to wink," and I think that this story kind of proves Colin wrong in that sense, that they're still a threat even if you wink. So I think that's probably the main idea of why the story sort of came about, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's what gave it the title, isn't it?
Yeah. I love the concept of it, though. I think having these people who don't have the ability to see that they have a different sort of sense, is it like intuition, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, somewhere along those lines from memory.
Makes you wonder if The Sixth Sense was originally a working title for this.
But that would be a nice title, but you get where they're going with this one with like Blink, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
I think the sound design, I feel like when you've got a visual monster like Weeping Angels, you really have to have a game sort of sound design, and this one has it because like the music lends itself for like the Weeping Angel movement, jump scares, that type of thing. I wouldn't say this is jump scare. This doesn't have like the horror what you'd get in Angel stories, you know, because it's sort of this sort of blank place, isn't it? There's like eclipse where you actually see stuff.
Yeah, and then the rest of the time it is just a pure white void, pretty much, for the Doctors. So that sort of doesn't really lend itself to the horror too much, because obviously, even though it is just audio, it's all in your heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one doesn't really lean into that, and I think that's fine because it's much more about exploring the fun that can be had with the Weeping Angels time travel in sort of creating paradoxes and stuff, and using some interesting concepts there. I think overall for me, I like everything the story's doing on paper. I feel like I should be liking it a lot more, but just it just never clicked with me throughout.
I think I was waiting for something a little bit more from it.
Maybe. I think everything that there's good when I think about it. Like I think it's all brilliant concepts and ideas. Just something about the experience of listening to it for me just never landed.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to feel. Like I felt a bit underwhelmed by it when maybe give me a year like Gates of Hell and I'll fall in love with it. But right now I'm just a bit like, yeah, it happened, like
It's
you say.
lukewarm.
Yeah. Like it's just there. It's wrapped up in the Out of Time stuff. It's okay.
Yeah, I think the performance of is it Angel Dan? Is it? What's it?
Evil Dan.
Evil Dan.
I don't. Yeah, I know what you mean because like he's really good on like the little Das. That rings a bell.
Dax.
Yeah, Clive Hayward.
Yeah, he does a brilliant job there.
Very. He adds that's the only creepy element of it, but I think it does
the
have some
baby
nice
laughter as well. With
the cherubs are great. Yeah.
Yeah, it does bring in a lot of Weeping Angel lore from the 11th Doctor side of stories.
Yeah.
I mean, but when this was written and recorded, they hadn't even started work on. Well, they would have started writing, but hadn't started filming Village of the Angels yet.
I think as well, it's weird listening to this story because we know Tennant's back in the show now, so it's sort of a weird going. Well, he's going to be on TV soon.
Yeah, it's not quite as he doesn't feel quite as special here with Big Finish as maybe he did when the first Out of Time came along.
Like, I definitely want to re-listen to it just to see. But it's the shortest of the Out of Time lot. I think this is 52 minutes, so it's one you can easily stick on. Well, that's Out of Time in general.
It felt longer for me on the first.
It did drag a bit.
Like I flew through Out of Time too, but I was just wanting to keep going with that. With this, I just sort of kept wishing it would be over already.
Yeah, because I remember sort of looking at the clock going, "Oh, I've got another 25 minutes of it left." I was like, "Blimey."
It's that sort of checking your watch vibe, isn't it? Which is a shame.
Which you just don't think you should be doing in multi-Doctor stories.
No, I suppose it is just the abundance of them that we've got at the moment. Like we had Annihilators earlier this year as well.
But I feel bad saying it because I still enjoyed it, but it's just compared to the other two, it's not on the same level as the other two, really.
Yeah, it just feels at the end of the day, it's just there. Really, it just feels like it's there to complete a trilogy.
I mean, I wonder if they'll do sort of McGann or McCoy. Do you think they'll push it? Or do you think
I hope not. I feel like it's gimmicky enough as it is.
Yeah. But just to complete the set.
Would you then go and do Stephen Noonan, Michael Troughton, and Tim Treloar as well?
See, that was the exciting thing when we didn't know it was all Tennant, that you could really play around with. Well, we've got Eccleston. Are we going to get Eccleston and like Colin? You know, it's just there was something quite nice just not knowing that Tennant was all in the other two actually.
It would have been interesting to maybe have Tennant, Tim, and a master, like maybe John Sim or a different master, and play about with that.
Yeah. Why that should have been masterful.
There we go.
Yeah. Wink, what would you give it out of 10?
7. I think it's fair for this one.
Yeah, I'd agree with a 7.
Because there's so much that should work about it when I think about all the stuff it does. But just upon listening to it, it didn't work for me too well.
It sort of has that Locum Doctors feel to it in a way.
How so?
That all the pieces are there to make something quite special.
I get you, yeah.
But it's not all there.
It needed something else to just push it a little bit further. Yeah. What have people got to say in the comments? Yesterday says big air energy from this one, which is a disappointment because 6 is my favourite Big Finish Doctor. That's a shame to hear. Yeah, I think we very much agree with the air energy from that one. Yeah. I mean, how are you finding him this year since it is very much his year? He's got so much going on. How do you feel about that yesterday? Well, and you, Ben.
Oh, me? I thought you were on about me.
Oh, sorry. I was more posing it to yesterday because he mentions Colin being his favourite of the Big Finish Doctors. I'm wondering how he's liking this year. But
I feel like I can speak for both of us, really, that the Colin stuff hasn't wowed us as much as it should be doing, really.
Yeah, I don't think any Colin release really was going to crack my top 5 of this first half of the year. Yeah,
because it's just fine. I think that's the best way to describe the sort of Colin stuff. It's just fine. It's there. A bit like 40 in a way, but you kind of got to wait to see what the other half of that set's like to properly judge it. I feel like that's Waterworld and Doctor of War, really.
Yeah, but then Davison has the benefit of having only had 40.
Yes.
So far. I mean, that's the only thing he's had at all this year.
Which is a shame, really.
Yeah. So you're not like as overdone by him. Whereas with Colin, it's week in, week out pretty much at this point.
Yeah, pretty much every month is a Colin story.
I have gone January. We skipped in February, March, April, May, and June, and July now, and August, and September.
Jeez.
So we've had him a fair bit.
Like, I like Colin, but yeah, even that's a bit much for me.
I mean, April, it was double as well because we had him in Stranded.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, him as a curator.
Yeah, I mean, he's at least sometimes playing different roles, like the Doctor of War. But yeah,
Well,
even then,
yeah.
it's still. I mean, that release didn't wow us for different reasons.
Yeah, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to Doctor of War, just because of like the premise of it, and just from like that 15-minute little excerpt as well. I was like, this is going to be something special.
Yeah, it was good when it was Tom Baker.
Yeah, the other Baker shined.
Oh, it's a shame because I was less looking forward to that than you, and so it's like I was right, but at what cost?
About 20 quid.
Yeah, there we go. Well,
and 3 hours of your life.
And another 20 for the last set.
Oh, that's true. I hope that's looking more promising though, the second set.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I don't want to get too excited though.
Already been burnt. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a stream soon talking about our favourites of the year so far and what we think of the relaunch. Because I think we're pretty much on the same page, really.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I feel like maybe when it comes to things we're looking forward to, we differ. But then when it comes to things that are actually out, I think we line up much more.
Yeah, very much. I mean, what are you looking forward to right now? I mean, Warmaster. I think that's an obvious one.
Yeah. So Pain Cyberman has just popped into chat to say even more of me. Yes, because we have got a lot of Colin this year. But yeah, what am I? I'm quite looking forward to Unit Brave New World, funnily enough.
Okay. What do you think of the theme? We didn't mention that in the news, but that's a good time to mention it.
Yeah, they put that out on social media, didn't they? I think it's pretty decent. I'm glad that it is something totally different from the Unit new series theme.
Yeah, which does your head in after a while.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to something a bit more classic feeling with Unit. But at the same time, new, because it's not the 70s crew that we know. It's something a bit closer to modern, but not too modern, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I think some of the recent Unit stuff almost goes too futuristic, doesn't it? They've got holograms and all that stuff, whereas this, I think, could be feeling a bit more grounded. And also, just Bambera is a wonderful character. I can't wait to hear more of Angela Bruce in the role.
Well, it's a wonder that they haven't done much with Bambera, really. Only that Lost Story Animal, I think, Bambera's been in. I know Angela Bruce has done a few other big finishes, but not as Bambera.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the most recent one was War Doctor, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I naturally went to Conversion, but yeah, you're right, War Doctor in Warbringer.
Yeah. She does do a lot of good different voices as well, doesn't she?
But you can recognise her though as well. It's not one of those ones where you're like, oh, it's Angela Bruce. It's one where you've got to listen to a little bit and go, oh, it's Angela Bruce.
Yeah, it's not like when you're told it's Angela Bruce, you recognise it, but when you just listen to it, you don't pin it as, oh, I'm listening to Angela Bruce.
Yeah, whereas like you get very used to certain voices and actors in Big Finish.
Yeah, there are certainly some that they use a lot. It's only for us who buy like pretty much every release, though.
Yeah,
it's funny how things work out release-wise sometimes. Like Annette Badland has 3 releases in 2 months early this year with Mind of the Hodiak, Blood of the Time Lords, and Outlaws.
Yeah,
the Miniaturist from the Outlaws. but Blood of the Time Lords was recorded 5 years ago, so that just ended up being a bit of a coincidence, really, doesn't it? It's not that she'd been in studio for a couple of days recording non-stop.
I mean, 3 very different characters, and I'd say 2 very good villains in 2 of the stories.
I think she's one who doesn't really pitch her voice differently at all, but doesn't need to.
Yeah, the character fits the voice.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't jump out at you that, you're listening to Annette Badland.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with Nick Briggs and some of his cameo roles, you instantly pin it as Nick Briggs, and then it's no longer a character; it's Nick Briggs doing a funny voice.
I think because you listen to the podcast, and you're so used to hearing his voice, it just becomes one of those voices that you just instantly recognize.
It'd be the same for us if one of us ended up in a Big Finish.
True.
Yeah. I mean, you're in a Dark Shadows. So.
Well, as a crowd noise.
Yeah, from Big Finish Day. What year was that?
I think day 6. I think day 6 or 7. Probably day 6. I think.
There you go.
As your fun fact.
Yeah, listen out for him.
I'm sure you'll be able to pinpoint Fetus Me voice. I think it was for either Bloodline. I think it was for Bloodline. I think one of them.
Yeah. Dalek fan Pertwee, welcome to the chat. Dalek fan Pertwee asks,
Hello.
"What's your favourite Pertwee story and why?" I mean, we have done our massive tier list, but I think
yes.
I mean, even then, we didn't really say our favourites necessarily, did we? Because it's a tier list, so there's quite a few on that top tier.
Yeah, and I think with that era, is just you can't go wrong with any Pertwee story. To be honest, it's the most consistent in the show. So whatever one you pick, it's a banger.
Yeah, I mean, Troughton's my favourite Doctor, but the Pertwee era is my favourite era as a whole.
Do you want to talk about your favourite?
I think you know yours, don't you?
I know mine. Do you want me to cover while you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm going for here.
Okay, right.
I mean, I know yours.
Yeah, you know mine. I think it's not a very well kept secret for me.
No.
My favourite for Sea Levels, because I think there's just something quite ambitious about it. It's probably the best dynamic of the Doctor and the Master. Just for location works, all great. Michael E. Bryant, one of the best classic directors, and I just think it's a lot of fun. Sea Devils, iconic villain, sword fights, cracking stuff. I think there's a lot to love with it, to be honest.
No. I don't. There's still just so many to choose from.
There is. It's hard to pinpoint a favorite, but yeah.
I mean, Ambassador's death is a very good one. I just love the tone of that story. That's perfect, like early 70s style, isn't it? That's probably what you imagine most when you think of season 7 of the.
It's that grit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, Liz Shaw's on top form in it.
Mm-hmm.
You got some nice bits of space travel as well. Nice bits of sabotage.
It's very backward and forth, but it works well.
A
bit like Frontier in Space, but I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a format for a lot of Doctor Who, isn't it? Shove them in a cell for a bit, let them escape, shove them back in the cell. But usually they do something with it usually that makes it interesting. I think Ambassadors is one of those ones. You still get the plot advancing either way. It's not completely standstill. There's still revelations. There's still other stuff going on outside the cell. You've got the theft of all the isotopes and stuff. The alien ambassadors themselves are quite creepy in their own way. So I mean, that's always a great one. Mind of Evil.
Yeah, that's very cool. I think that's the closest story to season 7 without being season 7.
It's wonderfully shot as well. I'd say that's definitely the best directed of the Pertwee era.
Michael Combe, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think he got
Timothy
told
Coombe.
he couldn't. Yeah, Timothy, isn't it?
Yeah, Timothy.
Yeah.
Coombe.
Oh, you're thinking of Mike. Is it Michael Bryant?
Michael Ferguson, I think I'm getting mixed up with as well.
Too many Michaels. Bryant did Sea Devils, didn't he?
Yeah, Bryant did. He did. I feel like Michael Lee Bryant was probably the most used director in the Pertwee years.
Yeah. You feel like he must have been so young because he is not youthful on the DVD extras, but he doesn't feel ancient if you get.
There's an energy to him, isn't there?
Yeah.
Even on like the View from the Deep one when he's climbing up like the rig. There's it's wrong to say sprightly, but there is like a nice physicalness to him.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. You feel like he looks too young to have done all of the directing in the 70s, but no, he did. Yeah, Timothy Coombe. I think he also did Ambassadors, didn't he?
I think that was Michael Ferguson, was it?
Oh, maybe it was.
Because I think
Timothy
Coombe only did one because he overran the budget, and that's why he was never invited back.
Maybe not, but yeah, it was budget that got him the boot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see, Doctor Who serials. Let's see the whole list of them on Wikipedia. The directors.
Fake fans here.
It was Timothy Coombe did Silurians.
Oh, okay.
There we go. I think the reason I was thinking Ambassadors is because Michael Ferguson, I think, went over. Yeah, helicopter. He went a bit overboard on that, didn't he?
He definitely did.
Yeah. But yeah, Timothy Coombe went even more overboard with The Mind of Evil and got told he couldn't make any more Doctor Who's. Got blacklisted from it, which is a shame because it was worth going over budget with that one because it looks incredible. It feels like a film at times, like the attack on the
Stanmore prison.
Yeah, at the end, there's like that wonderful shot where they're going through a tunnel and you zoom into the dark and it's pitch black for a second before the door swings open. Yeah, just wonderful stuff like that.
Yeah, it's wonderfully creative.
I love the transition as well from when they're chilling in the cell just before the attack starts and the Doctor's going on about potatoes and such when he was locked up in the Tower of London, and just got that jolly music playing as the Brigadier rocks up at the gates.
Something so nice about just hits different.
Yeah. Planet of the Daleks, always a fun one to just stick on and enjoy.
It's Terry Nation's greatest hits, but for all the right reasons.
Yeah, it doesn't feel derivative at all. It feels fresh and exciting, but also with plenty of callbacks. Yeah. I suppose finally for me, Invasion of the Dinosaurs has a special place in my heart.
That's an underrated one, that is. That's a real... I feel like people just remember it. It's a bit like the Green Death, but I feel like the Green Death gets away with it because of the ending.
Yeah, it has a lot of impact there. I mean, Sarah is brilliant in Invasion of Dinosaurs. She's like at an investigative journalist's best. She's being underestimated by all the men at UNIT, and so she's going off by herself to do all these investigations and such. Ends up getting out of court, but
there's just something quite nice about UNIT going up against the Doctor, and the Doctor becomes a bit of a fugitive in like episode 4 and 5. I like that. Again, a lot of helicopter action.
I think some jeep stealing as well, isn't there? Oh, there's that wonderful bit where the third Doctor puts on a different voice to pretend to be one of the soldiers to say that he's been captured.
It uses Pertwee sort of a man of 1,000 voices because he was, a radio man. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And of course, the treachery of Mike Yates.
Yes, yeah. But he gets redeemed in Planet of Spiders.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose Invasion of the Dinosaurs really is the last UNIT story as we know it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It never quite feels the same, really.
Yeah. Planet of the Spiders, they're there, but it's not really a UNIT story. It's more just like set dressing at the start. And then Robot, was it Fourth Doctor? And then same with Terror of the Zygons. And then that's it for Brigadier.
See, Terror of the Zygons feels very Pertwee-esque.
More so than Robot, I'd say.
Yeah, because I think with Terror of the Zygods, you can imagine John in the Land Rover, like the Scarce and Recall unit. Don't worry about it. I'll drive it off. I just picture John in that bit, but yeah, it's obviously made for Tom, but it just feels more pervy, like you say.
I feel like it still feels very Tom though, because it is really the beginning of the Gothic horror.
Yeah.
So it's got a good mix of both. Yeah, we've moved on from John a bit here, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
Well, that was kind of an answer and kind of no answer at all from me, Dalek Fan Pertwee. So sorry for that, but
we like a
it's
tangent
too much.
here.
Yeah, too much good stuff to talk about. Yo to Mr. Monk Cactus.
Hello.
Oh, Ben, Luke, I may have made a mistake having a go at those weebs after the stream. They found my channel and just raided it. Oh, that is a shame.
Very sorry. Very sorry about
at least
that.
you're getting some engagement on there still. Like,
yeah,
it's still.
I mean, it's been pretty quiet in terms of the sort of bots tonight, which appreciate.
Yeah, we're all clear from them tonight, thankfully.
This is where they appear. This is where they appear now. But yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll be here for much longer. So
no, we've done the main bulk out of time.
Yeah, they got to take their chance while they can. But, I mean, going back to a couple of questions ago.
Oh, go on.
You asked me what I was most looking forward to. What are you most looking forward to when it comes to Big Finish?
I would say Silver and Ice.
Ah, not long to wait then.
No, I think, or Shell Shock actually.
Oh.
I'm really excited for the Ribos story, and I think because we haven't had much McCoy, there's something quite exciting about it. And since we did like the Locum Doctors, like, you know what, I really like McCoy. Maybe been a bit too harsh on him. Absence makes the heart grow fond.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of them with novel adaptations, didn't we, to fill that void for a while?
So we had our fill of McCoy.
But yeah, getting new McCoy though, that's what's exciting. Yeah.
And it's sort of weird how
had a fair bit of Mel though.
Yeah, that is the one downside of it, but it's interesting how you sort of shift away from Cybermen. That's exciting to more the 4-parter. I just want a 4-parter, to be honest. I think that's what I've been missing. I've been missing 4-parters.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get some 3-parters with McCoy at some point as well,
which makes perfect sense.
Are you gonna? Yeah, are you gonna rewatch the Reboss Operation anytime soon?
Probably not, because I watched it last February, January time. It was one of those sort of lockdown watches. I was like, well, watch whole of season 16.
Yeah. I remember they did that on Horror Channel and then stopped at Androids of Tara.
They had a weird order, didn't they? Because I swear they missed. Yeah, I swear they missed like Stones of Blood or something. They had like a weird sort of mishmash.
No, they had all 4 of them up to Androids of Tara, and then they just never did Power of Kroll or Android Armageddon Factor. So I got the box set after that. Actually, that was my first time watching those stories. I realised why they didn't.
I mean, I quite like the Armageddon Factor, to be honest.
I couldn't get on with it.
It's for it's the last 6-parter, isn't it?
It's where the budget has all run out.
Yeah, but it's fine. I think Power of Kroll was the weakest from memory.
I don't remember either of them being that great, to be honest. But yeah, the first 4 are all very strong in their own ways. I think Androids of Tara might be my favourite. That's what I need to go back and watch again.
See, Stones of Blood was a surprising one.
Yeah.
Because I, like you, sort of say that it's a story of 2 halves. But I actually didn't mind the sort of tonal change of it.
It's infamous for it, isn't it? And I think that's more maybe where people talk about it, but it's not too bad in execution. It is more just you feel robbed of what could have been so you're not looking at what actually is for the most part. Especially when with Tom Baker, you're used to that gothic horror feel to things.
Is it the last sort of gothic horror story, do you think, for Tom? Or State of Decay, actually?
Yeah, State of Decay is the last one. But I mean, I think, we often sort of skip over the Graham Williams years in general, really. Like, if you're in the mood for a Tom, you automatically gravitate towards a Philip Hinchcliffe, I'd say.
I think, for me, it's like season 12, 14. That's your good Tom stuff. Past then, it's like pick your favourites.
Yeah.
Season 15 does nothing for me. I'm not a big fan of Horror Fang Rock. I think that's one of my ones where I have to hand in my fan card because I just don't seem to get the enjoyment out of it. That's what other people do.
I love that one. So that's one of our few differing opinions.
It just drags for me, that one. But it's one of those ones where I just can't love it. Just can't love it.
Miss Boncactor says, I wonder if they did have any plans to do a third Doctor Cyberman story in the 70s. I don't think there ever was there?
I don't think so. I think John was a bit against him, to be honest.
Well, he was against the Daleks, but he still got stuck with them all the time, so I don't think he was really...
Maybe they just didn't fit the aesthetic Barry and Terence wanted, really.
I think Barry and Terence weren't really that interested in them. I suppose because they'd sort of been done a lot in the 60s, like with Troughton. He had so many. They just didn't really feel like going back to them.
But then there's that lovely sort of Radio Times photo, isn't it, when John was in like full season 7 costume, and like he's with Lasalia and the ambassadors and the Yeti and the Cybermen. You're like, that feels like a lost two stories we should have had.
But I suppose it's just down to, season 7 didn't have as many stories, so there's not enough monsters to really pad out something like that. So they had to go into the props department and nab some other ones out just to fill it out a bit.
Just let Big Finish do it and we'd be fine.
I mean, I've done it.
Well, true. They've done the Cyberman one for sure.
Yeah, not the Yeti one yet.
I'm waiting for the Yeti one. That's going to be the next third Doctor thing, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, the Yeti have got to come along somewhere. Like, we've had them elsewhere, like countermeasures. I feel like we've got to get a Doctor Who Yeti story pretty soon.
You don't count Secret of Death's
Kind of. But
okay. Yeah.
Great intelligence Yeti.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, that's sort of set up with Secret of Death's End. But yeah, even then, Secret of Death's End feels like it's going to tease that there is more Yeti to come. So we are just waiting for that to finally come along in some form. Maybe Second Doctor. Oh, maybe. Because we know Jamie's going to meet up with the Second Doctor again. That could be where that's going to work in the Second Doctor Adventures.
I'm liking your thinking. And I can see the tagline.
Yeah.
And, the Second Doctor stuff seems to like recurring stuff at the minute.
Yeah. We got to reintroduce Jamie, so give us Laird and McCrimmon, but instead of a Jamie exit story, it could be a Jamie reintroduction story.
If they don't do that, what a missed opportunity. Yeah.
Unless they're saving it for his eventual departure again, because presumably they've got to deal with that at some point as well.
Yeah.
Unless they do it a Sixth Doctor and Perry and just keep it in the wind for ages.
Yeah, just walk off into a sunset. Yeah. But I think that's pretty much us done for tonight, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think we've covered all areas and more.
Yeah, we've done the recent news, had a bit of chat about TV Doctor Who, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to chat about just anything Doctor Who, really, isn't it? We love
that is
natter.
True. King of natters. We like a good old natter.
Yeah, good old tangent as well, often.
Or if we don't speak and we don't have a tangent, there's something wrong with us.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose one last point on the Cyberman story thing in the 70s for the third Doctor is that if John had stayed for another season, for season 12, perhaps Revenge of the Cybermen would have happened anyway with him.
And would that be a regeneration story?
No, I feel like it would have been something by Barry.
Yeah, it probably would have been something Barry
related. Especially because it was only 20 episodes. So that would probably be the penultimate one, wouldn't it? Then he'd work in the next one afterwards. Genesis as a third Doctor story, you can't imagine it.
I think it would be interesting, though.
Yeah. I mean, Harry would have never come around. Yeah, it's fun to think about what could have been, but I think how it worked out is more than good enough for us.
Well, ultimately for the better, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, John's still got 5 wonderful years as the Doctor, so...
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting. Put we under Hinchcliffe.
I mean, I imagine Barry... Well, actually... Terrence Dicks probably would have stuck around.
Yeah, Terrence.
His reason for leaving was John was going, Barry was going. So he didn't want to feel like the spare wheel. So I feel like if John had stuck around, Terrence probably would have as well for one more year.
But it's sort of interesting because even though John left because he wanted a bit more money, it just, for me, season 11 just feels like the right time for him to have gone.
Yeah.
Because like the wind had changed, everything was all changed really at that point. So I think that it makes it's like
I think the passing of Roger Delgado was very much the first domino to fall, wasn't it, in the chain?
It's like with Matt Smith, where you knew when sort of Karen and Arthur left, you knew that Matt wasn't going to hang around for much longer. In the nicest possible way.
Yeah, I mean, did Barry decide to leave before or after John did? I can't remember.
I think Barry decided first, I think.
Yeah, that could have been it.
Because I think it's all on the Time Warrior DVD, I think, where they all sort of say how it all worked.
I think they told Elizabeth Sladen before that John had decided to leave anyway, didn't they? Just so that she didn't get the idea that, oh, he doesn't like me, he's leaving already.
Yeah.
I think they made it clear to her that he was on his way out.
But yeah.
That's a good point to end on, isn't it?
Yeah, good place to
end on discussing an ending.
Yeah. What a perfect way to end it, really. I guess we'll be back, hopefully Friday, usual time, usual place, for more shenanigans, really.
Yeah. Don't know what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be fun.
Probably something related to season 22, maybe, because that's coming out very soon.
Yeah, it is.
Cash in on that.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Bonk Cactus. We will see you again another time.
And if you're seeing this on Catch Up, thank you for catching up. We appreciate you. And yeah, do all the like, subscribe and stuff. Appreciate it. And we'll see you very soon. Goodbye, everyone.
Take care.